Problems. Good evening, I'm Dylan Austin. New at 10 if you've been confused by the redone intersection of Highway 6124 and Route F south of Palmyra, Missouri recently. MoDOT officials say you certainly are not alone, but they're working on addressing those issues. WGEM's Frank Healy has been following this story and joins us live tonight with more on what exactly those issues are. Frank?
Dylan, workers near the intersection here tell me this is kind of what happens. People mean to go down towards Kansas City on Highway 24, but instead get off on the Route F exit here, sometimes even careening over off the road and having to drive around and get back onto the road. And they say they're hoping that MoDOT has some sort of solution in the works.
Well, since they finished the construction, we've seen a lot of confusion. The signage was a little confusing. We've seen a number of people go off the embankment, drive completely off the road.
Side and Stricker Nobi delivery driver Jim Nixon says the work at the intersection isn't all bad, however. He says now it's much safer to move big equipment like combines in and out of the intersection. But he says several times a day there's people turning around after taking the wrong exit at Route F. MoDOT area engineer Brian Unte says they're aware of the issue.
For a lot of people, the GPS device is confusing them as they come through this way. It's telling them to keep right, and they try to keep to the furthest right lane. Some of them are a little confused by the signs, so we made some changes to our signs out here today with their crews and made a few changes to our pavement marking to try to help with that.
He says they're working with the Missouri State Highway Patrol to figure out why confused drivers end up turning around or driving off the embankment. Unte says changing language like right lane to center lane and removing some arrows pointing to the Route F ramp are just the beginning of changes.
If the problem continues, there's some signing changes, some route marking changes, and some of the pavement marking that we'll look at. We're hoping that the changes that we did make this week and today help with the majority of the problem.
Nixon says he's glad it's a priority for them.
I think now time's going to tell. We're right here by the intersection, so we see the accidents all the time. We see the cars down in the embankment. So I think time's going to tell us whether or not it's working, because we're going to see it.
Unte says that after this time passes and if they see if things aren't getting better, they could be looking at doing even potentially overhead signage, even though in the past it has been considered expensive and hard to install near this location. Live in Marion County, Missouri, Frank Healy, WGEM News.